Liam had seen many strange things during his time in space. He had battled pirates, fixed starships in zero gravity, and even wrestled a two-headed space lizard. But nothing was stranger than the way Reika was acting lately. Reika was not human. She was from a canine-like alien species called the Corthery. She looked mostly human, tall, lean, with soft blue fur, long silver hair, and a wagging tail. Her ears were pointed and moved when she was happy or alert, and lately, they were always pointed at him. She followed him everywhere when Liam went. To check the engines, she was behind him. When he walked to the mess hall, she sat across from him, staring without blinking. She even started growling whenever another female came too close to Liam. At first, he thought she was just being protective, maybe even jealous, but he didn't understand why Reika was his battle partner, not his girlfriend. One morning, Liam woke up and found her curled up at the foot of his bed. Her tail was wrapped around her legs, and her eyes were watching him sleep. Reika, Liam said, rubbing his eyes. You okay? She didn't answer right away. She only blinked slowly and said, You were breathing unevenly. I was making sure you were safe. Liam sat up, confused. You're acting weird. Reika stood and walked toward the corner of the room. There, she had placed several soft blankets and some pieces of his clothing. She was building a small nest, carefully folding his hoodie, pressing her face into it, and arranging it around the soft pile. Reika, what are you doing? Liam asked, slowly approaching her. She looked over her shoulder and said, Preparing. Preparing for what? He asked, feeling a chill run down his spine. Reika turned to face him, her glowing yellow eyes serious. She gently took his hand and placed it on her stomach. Liam's breath caught. Her body felt warmer than usual, and her heartbeat was faster. Then, she whispered the words that turned his world upside down. You should prepare, human. We're having puppies. Liam froze. His brain couldn't process what she just said. Wait, what? He asked, stepping back. Reika tilted her head, confused by his confusion. I am pregnant, she said calmly, with your litter. Liam stumbled back and almost hit the bedpost. We didn't even. How is this even possible? He asked. Reika blinked again, then sat down on her knees like it was a serious meeting. Do you remember the serum I gave you during the battle at Black Moon Ridge? She asked. Liam nodded slowly. He had been dying, bleeding out, and Reika had injected something into his veins. You said it was medicine, Liam muttered. It was, Reika replied, but it also contains a genetic binder. Binder? It links my life to yours, she said. In Corthery culture, it is sacred, a sign of eternal bond. Liam felt his knees go weak. He dropped onto the bed, staring at the wall. This was too much. Reika, I didn't know. I know, she said softly, walking toward him. But my body knew, she added. It chose you, and now the pups are growing. Liam looked at her again. She didn't look scared. She looked calm, even proud, like this was something she had dreamed of. But what now? Liam asked, What happens next? Reika's tail flicked nervously. Her ears dropped slightly. If the council finds out, they will come for the pups, she whispered. Liam's jaw tightened. Why? Because they believe human DNA is unstable, she said. They won't let me keep them. A silence fell between them. Liam looked down at her hand still resting on his. He could feel something faint beneath her fur, like a soft flutter. A heartbeat, maybe, or movement. He wasn't sure. She leaned closer and whispered, Don't let them take my babies, human. Liam looked into her eyes, those deep golden eyes that once only saw him as a teammate. Now they saw him as something more. He didn't have all the answers, but he knew one thing. No one was going to hurt her or those unborn pups, not while he was alive. Liam sat alone in the engine room, staring at the metal floor. His thoughts were racing, too fast to catch. Just days ago, he was fighting alongside Reika in the blood-soaked fields of Black Moon Ridge. Now she was pregnant with his pups, and everything felt like a dream he couldn't wake up from. The moment she said those words, "We're having puppies," his mind had snapped into pieces. He kept asking himself how, why, when, and the only answer he had came from that one night during the war. It had been chaos. A Corthery outpost was under siege by rogue machines called scrapwalkers. Explosions filled the sky, smoke choked the air, and Liam had taken shrapnel to the chest. He had collapsed behind a broken wall, coughing blood, unable to breathe. Reka had found him seconds later, dragging him behind cover like he weighed nothing. "Don't move, human," she had said with panic in her voice. Liam remembered how. She tore open a pouch from her armor and pulled out a glowing vial. "This is my life essence," she told him. "It will heal you, but it comes with a bond." Liam had been too far gone to ask questions. He nodded, gasped, and passed out as the liquid entered his veins. The next thing he remembered, he woke up 2 days later. No pain, no wound. Just Reka sitting silently at his bedside. "You lived," she had whispered, and her eyes were full of something more than relief. Now sitting in the engine room, Liam realized the truth. That serum wasn't just medicine. It was a sacred connection in Corthery culture. It meant mating, loyalty, a permanent link that made the two life-bound, and he had accepted it without knowing. Reka didn't trick him, she saved him. But saving him had awakened something ancient in her, something instinctual. He heard soft footsteps. Reka entered the room, her hands behind her back, her expression unsure. "I should have explained earlier," she said, voice gentle like a breeze. Liam nodded, still staring ahead. "I didn't understand the effect," he said. "I didn't even know we were compatible." Reka sat beside him, close but not touching. "Our species rarely mates outside," she said. "But it does happen, and when it does, it's permanent." "Like marriage?" he asked. She smiled faintly. "Deeper than that." Liam turned to her slowly, studying her calm expression. Her ears flicked down slightly, a sign of nervousness. She didn't look proud now. She looked vulnerable. "I don't regret it," she said softly. "But I understand if you do." He blinked, surprised. "No," he said finally. "I don't regret being alive." Reka let out a breath she'd been holding. The moment held silence, not empty silence, but full of heavy thoughts. "I thought we were just friends," Liam added. "We were," she said, "but the serum changed me." "You mean emotionally?" "And biologically," she nodded. "Your scent, your voice, your presence. They affect me differently now." Liam stood and paced the room. "This isn't normal," he said. "I mean, for a human, this is overwhelming." Reka stood, too, placing a hand on his shoulder. "It's overwhelming for me as well," she said. "But it's not wrong." Liam looked at her, really looked this time. The way her eyes shimmered in the dim light, the way her voice was calm yet firm, the way she carried herself, not as a soldier now, but as something more. "You're not afraid?" he asked. She shook her head. "I'm only afraid of losing them." Liam's chest tightened. "You won't," he promised without hesitation. Reka stepped closer, resting her head briefly on his chest. "I didn't choose this," she whispered. "My instincts did." Liam placed his hand on her back, unsure how to feel. But deep inside, something told him this was more than just biology. There was something real here, something deeper than either of them could explain. Reka looked up and said, "The council. They'll come soon." Liam narrowed his eyes. "They won't take anything," he said. "Not while I'm here." She nodded slowly, her hand moving to her stomach. The bond wasn't just emotional, it was physical now, and Liam had a choice. To make, run from it, or protect it. And he knew there was no running, only forward, only fight, only protect. For Reka, for the unborn pups, for the bond they never expected, but now could never break. The silence of deep space was broken by a high-pitched alarm. Liam rushed to the command deck, heart racing, on the holoscreen. A flashing message glowed red. "Incoming transmission, Galactic Council." Reka stood beside him, ears pinned low, her tail frozen stiff. "This is it," she whispered. "They know." Liam tapped the console and the message opened. A tall alien figure appeared, a council official from the Zalari race, cold and expressionless. "Captain Liam," the voice said, slow and sharp, "your union with subject Reka of the Korthari violates Interbiogenetic Code 77. Liam clenched his jaw. The official continued. "This cross-species reproduction is unauthorized and dangerous." Reka stepped forward, eyes narrowed. "Our pups are not dangerous," she growled. "They're alive, and they're innocent." The official didn't blink. "By law, such offspring must be contained and observed," he replied. "They will not survive without our intervention." Liam stepped between Reka and the screen. "They'll survive with us," he said coldly. "You're not touching them." The screen went silent for a moment. Then came the words Liam had feared. "If you resist, Earth's status in the Galactic Alliance will be suspended." Reka's claws extended. A silent reflex. Liam's eyes narrowed. "You threaten Earth because one alien woman got pregnant?" he asked. "We threaten stability," the voice replied. "You humans break rules too easily." The transmission ended. The room fell quiet. Liam turned to Reka. "They're going to come for you," he said. She nodded slowly. "And for them," she whispered, placing a hand on her belly. Liam activated the ship's defense systems. The sleek warship, Dusk Reaper, hummed to life. Turrets slid from panels, shields flickered on, and escape pods went into standby mode. "This ship is old," Liam muttered, "but it can still bite." Reka leaned against the wall, breathing slow. "I don't want this," she said. "I just wanted a quiet life, a family." "You'll have that," Liam replied, checking weapon calibrations. "But we might have to fight for it." A blinking alert caught his eye. Multiple ships had entered their quadrant. Council vessels, fast and sleek, built not for war, but for capture. "Scouts," Reka said, her ears twitching. "They'll scan us, they'll test our shields. And then they'll call for the big ones." Liam knew she was right. The council didn't start with force. They started with pressure. They would use laws, politics, and fear. And if that failed, they'd send soldiers. Reka sat in the captain's chair. Silent, Liam watched her, wondering how things had changed so fast. Just weeks ago, they were hunting mercenaries and eating freeze-dried rations. Now they were future parents, outlaws in the eyes of the galaxy. A small alert chimed. A second message appeared, this one private. Reka leaned forward to read it, and her face went pale. "What is it?" Liam asked. She handed him the tablet. It was a bounty, not for Liam, not for her, but for the unborn pups. The council labeled them unstable hybrid entities. Dead or alive, the reward was high. Liam's blood boiled. "They've put a price on our children," he whispered. Reka didn't speak. She simply wiped a tear from her cheek and stood up. "I need to get off this ship," she said suddenly. Liam grabbed her arm. "What?" "They'll keep coming as long as I'm here," she said. "If I run, maybe they'll stop chasing you." Liam pulled her close. "We do this together," he said. "You're not going anywhere without me." She looked up at him, eyes full of fear and something deeper, trust. "We need to hide," she said. "Somewhere they can't find us," Liam nodded. "I know a place. An old war buddy lived on a moon no one talked about, off the grid, hidden from scanners, just then." Another alert rang out. Council scout ships had locked onto their location. Liam rushed to the pilot's seat. "Prepare for jump," he shouted. Reka took a deep breath and strapped in. Her hand never left her belly. The ship shuddered as engines roared. Council ships hailed them, ordering surrender. Liam didn't answer. He punched in the coordinates, and just before the jump activated, he spoke one message aloud, broadcasting it to every council frequency. "If you want them, come and get them." In a flash of light, Dusk Reaper vanished into hyperspace. The chase had begun, but this wasn't just a chase. It was a fight for love, life, and the right to exist. Asterisk, the stars blurred as the Dusk Reaper flew through hyperspace. Liam gripped the console tightly, eyes locked on the glowing navigation grid. Behind him, Reka sat still, one hand resting over her stomach, the other gripping the seat. They had escaped the council scouts for now, but both knew this was only the beginning. Liam stared at the long spiraling path ahead. He didn't trust hyperspace routes anymore. Every safe path had watchers now. Bounty hunters, patrols, even informants. He needed a destination no scanner could trace, no law could reach. So he chose an outlaw moon called Wraith Hollow. It wasn't on any legal map. Only smugglers, old soldiers, and ghosts knew how to get there. But Liam had once saved a man who called that place home. His name was Marcus Dren, an ex-mercenary who owed Liam his life and lived off-grid with tech no one else dared use. Reka spoke softly, breaking the silence. "You trust this, Marcus?" Liam nodded slowly. "He kept me alive when even my own people turned on me." Reka looked away, thoughtful. "Then I trust him too," she said, her voice soft like snow. The ship beeped twice. Something was wrong. Liam leaned forward and frowned. "Someone's tracking us," he whispered. Reka's ears twitched, her body tensing. "Council?" "No," Liam said. "Worse bounty pirates." The screen flashed with a new warning. Two small, fast ships were tailing them, barely visible on sensors, stealth crafts meant for capturing, not destroying. They had likely picked up the bounty. Alert, they weren't here to talk. Liam turned off all lights, switched the ship to silent mode, and prepared a short jump. But Reka's breathing suddenly changed. She bent over slightly, clutching her stomach. "Reka?" he said quickly. "What's wrong?" She looked up, sweat forming at her brow. "The pups," she whispered. "They're moving too fast." "Reacting to my stress." Liam panicked. "You're not due yet." Reka bit her lip and shook her head. "My body doesn't care about timing," she said. "It only cares about survival." They were out of time. Liam slammed the controls, activating the emergency hypershift. The ship groaned, metal stretching under the strain. The two pirate ships followed, but not fast enough. In a burst of light, the Dusk Reaper disappeared. When they dropped out of hyperspace, the sky was blood orange. In the distance floated a dead gray moon, its surface cracked and lifeless, its orbit surrounded by space junk. But deep within its belly was Marcus Dren's hidden base. "Hold on," Liam said as the ship began its descent. The landing was rough, systems flickering, gravity thrashing the controls. The ship finally landed with a loud thud. Alarms screamed, but then went silent. Liam rushed to unbuckle Reka, but she stopped him. "I can walk," she said firmly. "I'm not weak." But her legs trembled as she stood. Liam caught her before she could fall. "You're strong," he said. "But you don't have to do this alone." The bay doors opened slowly, revealing a long metal corridor lit by flickering red lights. A tall man stood at the end, wrapped in armor made of scrap and steel. His beard was wild, his smile dangerous. "Well, I'll be damned," the man said. "Liam Bloody Carter," Liam smiled. "Hello, Marcus." Reka leaned into Liam, exhausted. Marcus raised a brow. "And who's the lovely guest?" "My mate," Liam said without shame. "She's carrying our children." Marcus blinked, then laughed. "You always bring trouble, don't you?" Then he waved them in. "Come on. The council's got ears everywhere. Let's get underground." They walked through rusted hallways, past old weapons and broken droids. Marcus's base was hidden deep under the moon's crust, invisible to scanners, sealed with ancient tech that even the council had forgotten. Reka was led to a medical chamber lit with soft blue lights. Marcus's AI system began scanning her instantly. "She's strong," the machine said. "But the stress could trigger early delivery." Liam paced outside the room, jaw clenched. He had brought her here to keep her safe, but it felt like danger followed them everywhere. Marcus walked up beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You did good, brother," he said. "You found something worth protecting." Liam nodded, staring at the door. "I just hope I can keep them safe." From behind the glass, Reka looked at him and smiled weakly. Her hand rested over her belly, and in that moment, Liam made a silent promise. No one was going to take them from him. The underground moon base was silent, but silence didn't mean safety. Liam stood outside the medical chamber, watching the monitors. Reika was resting, her breathing steady, her heartbeat strong. But the pups were restless, their tiny forms shifting and kicking inside her. They were growing too fast. Marcus entered the hallway, holding a datapad. "You've got maybe a day before she goes into full labor," he said. Liam nodded, eyes still fixed on the screen. "We need more time," he whispered. "We need them to not find us." Marcus looked grim. "They already did," he muttered, showing Liam the screen. 3 council ships had exited hyperspace above the dead moon. No warning, no message. Just cold silence and powered-up weapons. "They must have traced your emergency jump," Marcus said. "Only a few people can do that." Liam's hands curled into fists. "Traitors," he whispered. Marcus didn't reply, just handed him a pulse rifle. "You ready to be a father and a soldier again?" Liam grabbed the weapon. "I never stopped being either," he said, inside the chamber. Reika sat up slowly, wincing as another ripple of pain moved through her body. She could feel them coming, not just the pups, but the enemies outside Core 3. Instincts ran deep, her ears twitched, her senses sharp, even underground. She could hear the soft humming of enemy ship engines above. Suddenly, red lights flashed throughout the base. Marcus's AI spoke in a cold tone. "Enemy drop pods inbound." "They're coming through the crust," Marcus shouted. "Fast and direct." Liam didn't hesitate. He kissed Reika's forehead gently and said, "Stay strong. I'll be back before they take their first breath." Reika grabbed his wrist and held on tight. "If I die, save them," she whispered. Liam looked her in the eyes and replied, "No one's dying today, not while I'm breathing." The base shook violently as the first pod landed. Metal groaned, lights flickered, and dust fell from the ceiling. Marcus and Liam rushed to the upper corridor, where auto turrets were already locking on. Through the camera feed, they saw them, black-armored council commandos, built for speed, silence, and precision. But Liam had seen worse, and this time, he had more to fight for than orders or medals. Firefight began with a loud roar. Energy blasts lit the dark corridors. Marcus fought like a demon, spinning and firing with brutal precision. Liam was faster, his rage like fire. He moved with deadly intent. Each shot was a promise kept, a promise to Reika, a promise to the pups, a promise that this family would live. One commando made it past the defenses, slipping through the shadows, creeping toward the med chamber. But Reika heard him, even in pain, even while clutching her stomach. She was still Core 3. She stood up slowly, grabbed a nearby surgical tool, and waited behind the door. The soldier opened it quietly, just a crack. Reika struck, slicing through his leg. He screamed, and she pounced, claws slashing, fangs bared. "No one touches my pups," she growled, leaving him unconscious on the floor. Back in the corridor, Marcus was hit. He went down with a grunt, clutching his shoulder. Liam dragged him to cover, panting. "We're almost through," he said. "Just hold on." Suddenly, a blast door opened behind them. One final squad, armored and heavy, too strong to beat head-on. Liam activated the emergency override. The corridor split apart. Gravity reversed for 3 seconds. The entire squad was sucked into a pressure vacuum and ejected into space. The door sealed behind them with a crash. Silence returned, but it wasn't calm. It was the silence of aftermath. Liam rushed back to the med chamber, hands shaking. Reika was lying on the table, breathing hard, sweat covering her brow. "They're coming," she whispered. Liam dropped his gun and held her hand. "I'm here," he said. "I never left." Marcus limped in and sat down with a groan. "Medical AI says she's going into labor," he said. Now, the room darkened, then bathed in soft blue light. The AI's voice was calm now. "Delivery process beginning." Liam didn't know what to do. He wasn't trained for this. He had no idea how to help an alien woman give birth to half-human pups. But he stayed, never letting go of her hand. Because sometimes just being There was the most powerful thing in the universe, Reka screamed once, then twice, then silence. Then the sound tiny, high-pitched cries. The AI said calmly, 3 healthy hybrids born. Liam stared as small forms were placed into Reka's arms. They had soft fur, tiny ears, glowing eyes, and the smallest little tails. But one of them, his eyes were unmistakably human. Liam looked at Reka. She looked back at him, tears in her golden eyes. "We did it," she whispered, and Liam, the soldier, the runaway, the protector finally smiled. "We all did," he said. Soft blue lights glowed across the medical chamber. The storm of gunfire and danger had passed, but now, something even more powerful had entered the world. Life. Reka lay still on the medical table, her chest rising and falling slowly. She looked tired, drained, but peaceful. In her arms were 3 tiny pups, wrapped in warm cloths, snuggled against her body. Each one made soft whimpering sounds, their little noses twitching, their ears folded. Liam sat beside her, eyes wide. As he stared at them, his hands trembled slightly, not with fear but awe. He had never seen anything so small, so fragile. He had fought wars, destroyed ships, and survived death. But nothing had prepared him for the moment he first touched his child. The smallest pup had glowing golden eyes and soft black fur. She looked up at him and yawned, her mouth revealing tiny teeth. "She looks like you," Reka whispered, voice rough and low. Liam smiled, eyes wet. "She's perfect," he said. The other 2 pups had different traits. One had silver fur and floppy ears. Like Reka, the last had short fur and Liam's human skin tone. But with a tail, they were hybrids, living proof that love, even between different species, could create something beautiful. Outside the chamber, Marcus watched through the glass, his injured arm in a sling. A faint smirk on his face, he whispered to himself. "Never thought I'd see the day Liam Carter became a dad." Reka slowly sat up, though pain moved through her body. Liam tried to stop her, but she shook her head. "I need to hold them upright," she said. Corthery mothers keep their pups close so they feel heartbeat. She pulled all 3 close to her chest, their tiny forms settling instantly. "They know me," she whispered. "They recognize my scent." Liam sat beside her and wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "They'll know me too," he said. "I'll be there every moment." The I voice echoed softly in the room. "Health status, stable. Infants adapting to atmospheric blend." Reka looked up, eyes wide. "They're breathing Earth oxygen," she whispered. Liam blinked in surprise. "That's not supposed to be possible." "It means they're stronger than we expected," Marcus said, entering the chamber. He pulled up a holopad, showing strange glowing patterns on the screen. "Each pup is adapting fast," he said. "Their DNA isn't rejecting either. Species, it's blending." Reka looked at Liam with awe. "They're not just half of you and half of me," she said. "They're a new future." Suddenly, alarms flickered once more, just a soft pulse. No danger, but a signal. Liam stood and checked the console. A secure message had arrived, encrypted and hidden behind 8 firewalls. He opened it, and the screen flashed with a symbol he hadn't seen in years. The Earth Defense Syndicate. A secret faction that didn't answer to the Council. The message was short. "We know what you've done. We believe the children are important. We want to protect them." Reka looked up, uncertain. "Can we trust them?" Liam wasn't sure. "They're humans," he said. "But not all humans are kind." Marcus spoke up. "Still, if they're offering sanctuary, you should hear them out." Reka held the pups tighter. "I don't want them raised as weapons," she whispered. "They won't be," Liam said firmly. "Not if we choose where to go next." Reka slowly nodded. "Then we choose peace," she said. "We find somewhere quiet, far from war, far from laws." Liam looked down at his daughter as she curled her tail around his finger. "We build a home," he whispered, "where no one tells us what's wrong, what's unnatural, what's forbidden." Marcus cleared his throat. "I can help you disappear," he said. "New IDs, A new ship, coordinates only I know. Reka smiled weakly. You've done enough. Marcus, she said. Marcus chuckled. Family helps family, even when it's not blood. That night, they stayed in the chamber. Reka slept with the pups curled around her, her arms like a protective shield. Liam sat close by, holding one tiny hand in his fingers. He didn't sleep, he just watched. And for the first time in a long time, he wasn't watching for enemies. Was watching over something precious. The war was not over. The galaxy still hunted them. But something had changed. This wasn't just survival anymore. It was life. It was hope. It was the beginning of something new. 2 months had passed since the battle on the dead moon. The galaxy still whispered about it. Rumors spread fast an outlaw warship had defeated elite council forces while protecting a forbidden's hybrid birth. But no one could confirm where that ship had gone. It had vanished, like a ghost swallowed by the stars. Liam had made sure of that. He and Reka now lived on a hidden green moon, buried under thick trees and storm-wrapped skies. The coordinates were locked inside an ancient satellite. Marcus had rebuilt for them. No one could track it, no one could reach it, unless invited. The house was simple. Built from old metal and wood, taken from wrecked ships, but it was warm, quiet, and filled with life. Inside, 3 small hybrid pups crawled and played on the padded floor. They laughed in strange sounds, half growls and soft giggles. Their tiny tails wagged, their ears twitching every time they heard Liam's voice. Reka sat on a large cushion near the window, her arms gently rocking the youngest pup to sleep. Her silver hair fell around her shoulders. Her eyes calm, now no longer sharp with fear. She had found what her species once said could never be. Hers, a home, a mate, a future. Liam entered, holding a container of warm food. I caught a forest glider, he said proudly. Smoked it just the way you like. Reka smiled. You're getting good at this. Fatherhood or cooking? He asked. Both, she laughed, her voice like soft thunder. They ate quietly while the pups played. Reka looked out the window at the 2 moons glowing in the sky. Do you think we'll ever be found? She asked. Liam took a long breath, then shook his head. Maybe, he said, but if they come, they'll have to go through me. Reka leaned her head on his shoulder. I used to think my life would end on a battlefield, she whispered. I thought mine ended the day. I got shot at Black Moon Ridge, Liam replied. But instead, we got a second chance. Suddenly, a sound buzzed from the old console in the corner. Liam stood up, cautious. It was a private signal, low frequency, encrypted. He opened it slowly, expecting trouble. But instead, a familiar voice crackled through. Carter, you old ghost, it said. Still breathing? It was Marcus. Liam smiled. Barely, he replied. How's the shoulder? Rusty, but working, Marcus said. Listen. I've been watching the outer sectors. There's a shift happening. Liam leaned closer. What kind of shift? Other species. Other couples, Marcus said. Some are starting to speak out, question the laws. They're asking, why can't love exist across stars? Reka stood beside Liam, her eyes wide with hope. Marcus continued, you may not know this, but your story leaked. Some call it a lie, others call it dangerous. But to many, you're a legend. Now Liam looked down at his pups, then at Reka. We didn't do it for legend, he said quietly. No, Marcus replied. But legends don't ask for permission. Reka smiled, tears forming at the edge of her golden eyes. They'll grow up in a world that's changing, she said. One where they won't have to hide. Liam nodded. They'll know they were born from love, he whispered, not fear. That night, as the pups slept between them, Liam and Reka sat by the fire. The warmth lit their faces. The silence filled with peace. Outside, the stars moved slowly, distant and ancient. But inside that small shelter on a forgotten moon, something brighter glowed, a bond that could not be erased. A family born from impossible odds, and a love stronger than any law. No council could break it, no bounty could silence it. No force could erase what had been created. Because in the end, They weren't just fugitives. They weren't just survivors. They were parents, they were mates, and they were free.